George McGovern testified about his own meetings with Fidel Castro.
During 9 hours of conversation with Prime Minister Castro on a visit to Cuba in early May of this year, the issue of CIA-inspired assassination attempts against Cuban leaders was discussed at some length. Mr. Castro told me that the CIA was involved in a number of efforts to assassinate him and other Cuban leaders. Later on, this matter came up with his brother Raul, the defense minister, and I must say it was no laughing matter with him. There was no joking around about it.
What exactly did Raul say?
He said, let me tell you, if any one of those attacks had succeeded, I can tell you that I would have found some way to retaliate.
At the Brazilian embassy, Fidel Castro himself delivered an unprecedented message only 2 months before the Kennedy assassination. He told Associated Press correspondent Daniel Harker that if attempts to eliminate Cuban leaders continued, American leaders would not be safe. Ironically, Santo Trafficante was playing both ends against the middle by sending snipers to Cuba for the CIA, while at the same time warning Castro of their arrival.
There was intelligence that Santo Trafficante was doing business with Castro. Do you know anything about it?
When Castro took control of Cuba, he seized all the American casinos and all their assets and threw all the operators in jail, including Trafficante. And then suddenly Trafficante is released with all his assets.
Several of the people that were on one of the missions were captured in Cuba and tortured. And the assumption was that he was part of that.
The thought went to my mind, Trafficante is working for Castro, or he's working through Castro's agents here. He's the contact. Trafficante came out with all his money. Immediately went into business. And look how big he got overnight. He spread out all over the South. Of course, he teamed up with Marcello, and he has some Chicago interests too.
Marcello was very high in the United States in the hierarchy. You know, he was very high. I can't see anybody in the South, even if Trafficante was on a peer level with him, he'd still have to go through Marcello.
I think Carlos Marcello is the key figure behind the assassination. His territory included Dallas, and his fingerprints come up in the assassination case again and again and again.
When Carlos Marcello testified before the House Select Committee, he denied any involvement in the Kennedy assassination. Santos Trafficante also appeared before the committee, but he contemptuously took the fifth and revealed nothing.
A special report from Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Jack Anderson.
We stand today on the edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s.
How many men pulled the trigger? How has this conspiracy been kept secret for 25 years? And why are people still being threatened and killed for what they know? Who murdered JFK?